Relief. You two take care of labor. Only intended for a plane capsule. You don't want to die of cold. Toll free.
This one to the side, and then you can.
Oh, could we put our heads
squeeze
together?
in? Yep, that
Yeah.
works.
You guys hear me okay? We're good?
I hear you just fine, dude.
All right, sweet.
Yep. Can you hear yourself, Carl?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Good.
Should we boost Carl?
I mean, if you guys can hear me okay, then it should be fine.
I
Yeah,
wonder if
yeah.
you can't really hear yourself. Can you hear us more than you can hear you?
Yeah.
Try not talking at the time that you're listening to yourself. Because maybe you're covering it up with your own voice.
No, I think Carl's going direct. Where's your mic? Right here.
He is going. I think he's in the. Yeah, he's in the loop. So the loop is actually turned up all the way.
Okay, Carl, talk.
Hello? Hello? That's a little bit better.
Okay, cool.
I think that also.
Yeah. This is fine. This is...
Too, so maybe
Am I hot again? Yeah. If I'm hot again, Ryan, just turn. So the far right knob on the top, that's straight mic in. So just turn that down a tiny bit.
Okay.
So I'm turned up all the way there. Turn me down to 90, and then so that should soften me up a little bit.
Yep. And then Carl, I can turn this up.
Yeah.
Hello, hello? Oh, yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we even more balanced now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
This
good.
is good. This is
Good.
good.
Yep.
This is very good.
Are you wearing an undershirt, Adam?
No.
Oh, nice.
All chest.
That's cool. I'm not wearing an undershirt either.
Did you trim your chest hair for us?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't ever shave my body hair. Should I? Should I
I think the doctors are mixed on that right now.
be?
Yeah.
Doesn't it grow back longer too?
Oh, I wish.
If you shave it, it will grow back twice as long. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather not.
Wow.
Yeah. I look like a fucking wolf man then.
What if you kept shaving it then? Is it like?
It'll keep growing. There's no limit to body hair growth. Yeah.
The hairs know that they've been shaved.
They know that they've been shaved.
So they
and
want to come back
with a
stronger, so it
vengeance.
won't happen again.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just like when you work out a muscle, you
Yep.
tear it.
Yep.
Yep.
It gets bigger.
It gets bigger.
So do the hair follicles get bigger themselves?
Everything about it.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Every aspect involved with hair follicle growth gets
Yeah.
bigger.
Dude, my dirty desire in this life is, have you guys heard of like beard thorns? Or have you gotten them?
No, what's that?
It's when two hair follicles grow out of the same like hole in your face.
Oh yeah, kind of like an ingrown hair in a way.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever gotten one where it's
Yeah.
like two hairs poking through?
Is it like harder, thicker?
It's super hard. And if you like roll it in your fingers, you can see that it's actually like 4 hairs.
What? It's like a little
Ugh.
beard erection.
It's kind of, no, it is kind of gross. So if you like feel your beard, you'll feel like a hard one. And so if you take a tweezers and pull it out, you don't have to pull it out like a normal beard hair. If you just take a tweezers, it just comes out.
Whoa, because
Yeah.
it wants to come out.
It wants to come out.
Yeah,
And they're
it's ready.
thick, man. They're very
Get me outta
thick.
here.
Yeah, get me out. They're thick and hard. They're kind of gross, but it feels great to pull them out.
I like it, man. It's like when you find one of your cat's whiskers laying around on the couch or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Jen actually has a jar. She collects our cat's whiskers for some reason. You guys had 3 distinct different reactions to that. I don't know. I kind of like it. Yeah. She tells like yesterday. She was like, I was hanging out downstairs watching a movie, and she yells from upstairs. She's like, "Babe, I found a whisker." I'm like,
She's got a mason jar of them. There's like 46
great. Add it to
of
the
them in
collection.
Yeah.
We got 46 mason jars full of.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they're kind of nice though, because they're like, I feel like normal cat hair would just like fade away into the ether.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of firm, like the
It
the end of
degrades.
like a leaf. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, whiskers, man. Those things are
So
fossils.
much more keratin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In Greek myth, a good luck charm was, have you guys heard of Rapunzel syndrome where girls like eat their hair?
Oh, dude, I think I have.
Yeah, so
once.
Rapunzel syndrome, ladies. And so it used to be a good luck charm to get one of these hair balls from a human. And people would like keep them as a thing to ward off evil. I was looking at it.
okay.
I found a Persian ring of a hair, like a hardened hair ball that somebody put into a ring to ward off evil. Somebody was selling it on eBay.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Sounds like some gypsy shit.
It is some gypsy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's witchcraft.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many of these how rare is Rapunzel syndrome?
I don't know. It's probably pretty rare to like actually get one out of somebody.
Yeah,
And,
because think about what would have to happen. First, you'd have to have someone that has that weird ass condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have to die, presumably.
Yeah, die or like pass it eventually. And
Oh,
it gets like
sure.
all hardened because of, I don't know, calcium that builds up around it, like
Yeah.
something in the stomach that builds up around
Do they
it.
cough
It's
it
a
up
bad
like a
habit
cat?
to chew on your hair too.
It's a really bad habit.
Yeah, it's like chewing your
Yeah.
fingernails. It's
Chewing
like,
on your
stop
fingernails.
chewing your hair. It's not Rapunzel syndrome.
That's
Rapunzel
nasty. I don't
Down
know.
syndrome. Quit it. Knock it out.
Do you guys think chewing your fingernails is gross?
Yeah. Yeah. I only say that because it tastes bad. Every
it
time that
tastes
I
delicious.
like, really?
I like it.
Every time I munch on one, it just tastes like the day's work.
I like the consistency of it. It's like
It's an efficient habit just because you don't need a clipper. You're getting a clean. It's a little hygienic in a way. Because nobody likes
It's a little hygienic. It's a
nobody
tiny-
likes a long coke nail. No,
No, I don't like long coke nails.
No.
no.
it's a little
And,
gross.
dude. Before nails clippers, that's all they did was just munch on them. Mm-hmm. It was probably a good source of like food when you're hungry. Like during the depression, just like Mom,
yeah.
come over here, let me munch
there's
on one
probably
of
a
those.
Made up
cal-
of
like it's
fiber
probably like
in
maybe
each
like
other.
Yeah,
a quarter of a calorie per little bit of
yeah.
fingernail.
You got to chew it up a little bit. Do you eat
Yeah.
yours? Do you like chew them up and eat them?
No, I'll just spew them out to the universe.
into the abyss.
They blast them off. You just get it like in that perfect spot on your lower lip, and then just a quick,
Oh yeah.
and those things just
Yeah.
those things just shoot off.
Right into like a good meal that Jen's trying to like prepare.
needs more nail.
Damn, what's the secret ingredient in this? Can't quite put my finger on it.
Do you
Damn.
chew your toenails?
No, I don't chew them. That's gross. That's crossing a line for me.
Okay, that's gross.
definitely crossing a line. And when I'm clipping my nails, I'm clipping them right into the trash can, or I'm collecting them and then throwing them into the trash can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I put my foot on the toilet seat and then I just clip them and they go. Some of them go into the toilet. Most of them go around my toilet.
Okay.
And then I say,
So, Carl, you're the plumber on the podcast. Which, by the way, welcome, Carl.
Hello.
Hi, Carl.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having us on your podcast, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Carl's running the show
So,
here.
Carl, you're the resident plumber here. Can you get a backed up main line from too many toenails
All
going
those
down
toenails?
down the drain?
No, not really going down the toilet. Toilet's it's a pretty big sized pipe. It's got to handle massive shits.
It's got to handle my dumps, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
and that is saying something.
It can handle what Adam's doing. To it.
And I am ruining toilets, Ryan. Just, bah!
You're single-handedly keeping his company afloat.
Like, damn it, we need to tear into the fucking street. Adam fucked it up again.
He's paid for my apprenticeship over the years.
Yeah. Do you roto-rooter? Big poops?
I have, yeah. It's part of the job. you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just I mean I've definitely gone to toilets that are just so backed up that you open it up and it's just full of it's always of course after like a really 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 bad sesh of diarrhea. And
The
then
diarrhea backs it up?
sometimes if it's something else already.
It's like the
backing
final
it up,
straw that broke the camel's back.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
pretty much. And it's always fun because the homeowner's just like, I'm so embarrassed. You don't have to look in the toilet, do you? Like, yeah, I
That's
kinda
the
do.
one
Yeah.
place you gotta look.
You have to like touch it. You have to get in there.
Yeah. I just have to put an auger in there, and hopefully if the auger clears it, then that's what you want. But
Do you ever fuck with the client, make them feel like worse about the situation? Be like, this is disgusting. It's all over my hands.
I've seen some bad ones. But
I've been
is
doing
the
this for
worst.
20 years, and I gotta say, I have never seen something this bad. To say that every time.
this is the worst I have ever seen. I don't know what you were doing, but
The police come to investigate a string of suicides after you leave their place.
Listen. This is a religious experience for me. Like, you need to start making some changes.
my company
We do offer counseling. So
company just calls them afterwards. Yeah, we're gonna have to not do business with you anymore. Our employees are a bit traumatized by you.
Yeah, true. Do you have to remove the toilet sometimes to get to these big poops?
Yeah, so sometimes if the clog is so bad that you can't, with the regular auger, If you can't get it with that, then you have to suck out all the water from the toilet and completely pull the toilet. So it really sucks if the toilet's really backed up and there's a lot of nasty water in it because you have to get in there with a shop vac and suck all that out.
That's tough.
It's not fun. I've done it many times and it's not. It's one of my least favorite parts. It's just like, oh God, that man again.
Yeah.
Just had to do one of these last week.
That's tough. At least it's like out of the body already and not like, at least the person's not connected to it. I worked at a hospital where I'd have to like straight from the horse's mouth, I'd have to get it. And that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to go in with an auger?
I'd go in with an auger. A lot of the older guys, I'd have to roto-root them. And I'd have to twist it out. It's nice if it was like down far enough because sometimes you'd have to go in through the mouth and try to loosen it up by pushing it down. So, yeah.
Wow.
I will say that, and I say this all the time to customers, and they think I'm crazy, but I will say that by far, kitchen grease is way more disgusting than poop.
Then shit? Really?
Yeah, because
That's interesting.
Okay, because shit is just shit. Like, you know where it comes from, you know what it is. It's disgusting. It doesn't smell good. It doesn't look good.
Comes from a butt.
But you know where it comes from. You know what it is. Kitchen grease is a mixture of just like everything. I mean, every time you're washing your hands, washing dishes and everything, you know, like, oh, there's some moldy cheese in the fridge. Let me just put it down the drain. And
that's wild.
It's disgusting and it smells terrible. And if you get kitchen grease on your hands, your hands are gonna smell like it for a week.
Yeah.
No
That's an
matter how many
interesting
times you
point,
wash.
dude. I didn't think about that.
So you shouldn't put grease down the sink.
Well,
you should only put poop down the sink? Is that how I'm understanding this?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you could.
Dude, your garbage disposal smells like shit.
Yeah, you might be onto something. We haven't tried that before. No, I mean the thing about kitchen grease and customers always get mad when they ask me what was clogging their kitchen sink and I tell them it was grease. They always get so defensive. I never put grease down my drain, and the thing is, it's like if you got to think anything that you put down that drain. I mean, anytime you're washing dishes, you eat a big burrito or something, you're cleaning off all the nastiness off the plate, and
that's grease.
It's all going,
Every time you wash a pan.
So that all turns into a thick substance that looks like grease, and so you got to be, there's things you can do, there's preventative maintenance that you can do to make sure that it's staying.
What about
cleaned
running hot water for like 20 seconds before and after you pour a little bit of grease down there? Does that help?
Yeah, that
Or
definitely
just a
helps.
myth?
I would also, it definitely helps. I mean, do it to a certain extent. I mean, if it's a whole huge pan full of grease.
I have one sitting on the stovetop downstairs from the bacon this morning.
Yeah. What do you do with it? It's
what I usually do is I wait for it to cool off and I get a paper towel.
That's exactly what I do.
Kind of scoop the rest of it up, and then once all that's gone and it's not like sitting liquid inside the pan, then you can use hot water and Dawn dish soap just to get the
soap like
remainder
breaks
out.
it down. It feels like
Yes,
the soap does something to it.
Dawn always use dish soap. Dawn dish soap. The problem is with like a lot of fancier hand soaps. They're like synthetic soaps, and they're actually made from animal fat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so that
Instead
can
of the good human fat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that can heavily contribute to the grease.
I just watched Fight Club, so.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
So that can heavily contribute
What?
to the grease if you're using
They
a
steal
lot of
fat.
that.
They steal human fat to make soap. in
Really?
that movie. Have you seen Fight Club?
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't remember that part.
Yeah. I just watched like 5 movies in the last 2 days.
Nice.
Catching up.
Good.
Day off
Good.
work.
So they steal fat from people.
They go
the
into
people
a
notice?
liposuction clinic to they sneak in there, go into their dumpster, and they pull out these bags of human fat.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And they make soap.
Weren't we talking about
Fucking
this
gnarly.
last time about like making soap from fat?
We were talking about it just like 10 seconds ago.
We were talking about
Yeah.
how the Nazis used to make soaps and stuff
Yeah.
like that from the fat of dead
Oh,
Jews.
Yeah, with like
yeah.
bleach, you can like
Yep.
soapification.
So that's the kind of fancy soap you're talking about, right? The Nazi,
Yeah.
Holocaust soap? Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah,
That's the soap
yeah.
I'm finding all
and
the
that
time.
doesn't really work very good for breaking down grease.
No.
Mm.
No.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I wonder what
that's good to know.
ethnicity would make the best soap for breaking down grease.
Probably like a vegan. I'm going with like a nice vegan.
Yeah,
That race.
from vegan land. Yeah.
Yeah.
Veganlandia.
Yeah.
Veganlandia.
Nice, man. So, plumbing.
So plumbing.
That's good stuff.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a great career. If you stick with it and deal with the literal shit and.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing that turns
Job comes with a lot of bullshit.
It's the one thing that turns anybody away. That's also the one thing that everybody always asks me. They're like, "So you're a plumber, huh? Do you have to like deal with like shit?"
Yes.
Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not all the time, not every single day. But
Carl,
it's-
you know what you got to do though? You just got to go. Yeah, yes, I do.
Why else do you think I do it?
they do say that they do say that there's 3 laws of a plumber.
Yep.
Don't bite your fingernails.
Yep.
Shit flows downhill.
Yep.
And paydays on Friday. If you learn those 3 things, you can be a plumber.
Bro, Carl, get those tattooed on your chest.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. 3 opening principles of plumbing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
I like
If
that.
you can learn those, you can be a plumber.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sick, bro. So, Carl, tell us a little bit about the other thing we talked about.
Yeah. So I have Tourette syndrome. Had it my whole life.
Were you born with it? Were you
I
born
was-
ticking when you came out of the womb?
I mean, I guess I've had it as long as I can remember. I just don't really remember a time not having it.
Sure.
It got worse over the years, and then kind of the older I got, and then it really peaked around like 5th grade, and then into middle school it got really bad.
It got worse and worse. That's interesting.
Yeah, it
I would
did.
almost
But then
imagine
it
it'd
started
be
getting better.
It started getting better.
Once you were in high school or like after high school?
Well, actually, it finally started getting better once I started taking medical cannabis, and like, I don't know, it was like junior year.
Well,
of
you
high
were
school.
18, right? I thought
Yeah,
they couldn't.
I had just turned 18, and that was like one of the biggest. I mean, I think they can prescribe. I think at the time they were able to prescribe it to people under 18, but it was like it had to be.
It's like a medical necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
You were one of the first people in the state of Minnesota that actually got the prescription for medical cannabis,
my
right?
neurologist was.
That's a flex, dude.
That's a huge flex.
You got that good, dude.
Yeah, my neurologist said that I was her first patient with Tourette's that she prescribed it to. And it was actually kind of my mom's idea at first. She was the one that kind of had brought it up to the.
Well, because I brought it up to her, but
Well, yeah, but
You did?
and so she brought it up to the neurologist and kind of had showed her a video of me trying to tell a story after I had come home from school one day and.
and then you take a big bong rip, and then you tell the same story, and it just
Like, see what the
turns into
difference
fucking
is?
Stephen King.
Yeah, tell us how'd the story go? How was the story pre-cannabis?
I mean, I don't remember what the story was about, but I just basically I have a lot of. So the thing with Tourette's is there's 2 different kinds. There's one that which is the most common one that people usually think of, which is the loud outburst and swearing.
Yep.
And stuff
Vocal
like that.
tics, right?
Vocal tics, yeah. And
Kind
so
of the fun one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the funny one, the more
Yeah, the one that's funny.
the Hollywood
Yeah,
Tourette's.
yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I don't have that one. I have the boring one, which
Be a lot cooler if you did.
Yeah, it would. It would. Really
the
got
one I
screwed.
have, they're motor tics, and so just twitching and stuff like that. But within the motor tics, there can be what's called vocal motor tics, and so basically those are instead of loud outbursts, I'm still using my mouth, but it's just like a grunt or like clearing my throat or stuff like that, or like a breathing one.
Yep.
And so it'd be a lot of that, and just unable to kind of get through a story without constantly having to do these tics all the time, and
Yeah.
and so it it took like a 5-minute story and turned it into like a 25-minute story just because
Wow.
Kept getting interrupted.
it kept getting interrupted, and
Yeah.
so
Must have been brutal to listen to.
yeah, it really was. And I didn't know my mom was taking the video, and then
Oh.
when she showed it to the neurologist, I was just kind of listening to myself, and I was just like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's kind of when I first got on the the medication, and
And you had tried many, like every medication under the
my
sun.
gosh,
They gave
so
you
many. I mean, I practically put like two or three neurologists into retirement because
Wow.
I mean, I was just I mean, and at one point, one neurologist, this is old guy who had been doing it for years, came up with this brilliant idea and thought, he's like, have you ever thought maybe you have OCD and that's why you do it? You do one tick and you have to keep doing more and more because of OCD.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that might be a breakthrough. That might
Yep.
finally be something that would work. And so he got me on OCD medication and it didn't do anything.
I think they're related though.
I think,
OCD
to a certain extent,
and
yes.
tics, because
Yes.
I had tics before they realized that you did, because I'm a little
Yes.
bit older than you.
Yep.
Carl and I are brothers, by the way, for our listener. But so I had like very mild OCD that kind of came along with a few motor tics, but it wasn't enough to call it Tourette's. It wasn't as debilitating as yours were. But I do think they have the similar roots. They have similar common ancestors, OCD and Tourette's.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, tics are a very common thing
Yep.
to have. I mean, it's very, very common for people just to have tics. I mean, I know Ryan and I, we've talked about how just kind of, if we look at, like our dad's side of the family, like our uncle and stuff like that, and some of our cousins, they have just minor little tics. And so if you kind of look at that and you picture, the fact that they have tics, our dad has some tics as well, Ryan had some tics.
Yep.
That's pretty much mostly, for the most part, that's probably where it came from for me. And then I don't, for
You
some
just got
reason,
all
I
those genes
I
just
got
piled up in
all
your
of it.
DNA.
Yeah, and it just turned into full
Just a
blown.
healthier dose of it.
And
Yeah.
so for Ryan, his tics kind of started getting better around 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Mine were
so-
pretty bad in fourth grade was a rough year for me. I'd say middle school was when mine settled down.
Okay.
What kind of tics? What was going on?
Oh, I had just facial tics,
Really?
like eye blinking, kind of like nose and mouth scrunching.
Okay.
I had some like weird head tics where I kind of tilted my head like that a little bit,
Yeah.
but those faded out pretty quickly once I got to middle school. I still have some that I say are stress induced now.
Okay.
Like if I'm in a stressful situation, I'll kind of do some weird eye blinking stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like almost like a self-soothing type technique.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
And then I also noticed like anytime I had taken I used to be prescribed ADHD medication, so Vyvanse, which you guys know, amphetamine. Anytime I'm on any kind of amphetamine, or even if I have too much caffeine, they'll start to creep back a little bit.
Interesting. Yeah. So that's why you didn't take the caffeine mint. Brought to you by NeuroGum.
Yeah, maybe I should have, because this is an episode about Tourette's. So
Yeah.
maybe we should all just
I took one, bro.
inject
Yeah.
caffeine so we're all ticking nonstop. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up?
I was gonna say that you mentioned the ADHD medication. That's actually the reason because I do have ADHD, and I was diagnosed with ADHD around the same time that I was diagnosed with Tourette's.
Okay.
And basically, the doctor said the problem is you can't be on ADHD medication, because it's gonna spike your Tourette's.
Yeah.
And so they said, we can, if you want, we can treat your ADHD, but you're gonna have just a bunch of tics. And so they kind of gave me a choice on if I wanted to, be treated for Tourette's or for ADHD. And at the time, I picked Tourette's because it was just so bad, and I was afraid of bullying. And so
Yeah.
I kind of had to go all throughout school with untreated ADHD. And so I still have, I still notice little parts of ADHD here and there, but for the most part, I've just kind of learned how to manage that, just because I'll never be able to take actual ADHD medication because
Right.
it'll always spike my tics.
Right.
You mentioned bullying. How big of a factor was that in your childhood?
It was pretty. I mean, it was pretty heavily, factored into my school years.
Yeah.
I'd say middle school was probably the worst.
That makes a lot of sense.
A lot of kids were still pretty immature and didn't understand kind of what it meant. I did pretty much every year, I think starting in first grade or maybe even kindergarten, at the first day of school, I stood up in front of the class and kind of read a whole little thing, just kind of saying, "Hey, my name's Carl. I have Tourette's. This is what it means. You can ask me questions about it." And that was kind of my way of getting in front of it.
Smart.
Right away in the beginning of the year, so that way everybody knew what it was, and there was no question about why is Carl twitching like this and all that stuff. And so that helped a lot, but there were still a lot of kids that decided to take advantage of that, and even though they knew what it was, they used it to call me names. And
What's the best name you've ever been called?
I don't know. Tourette's boy was pretty good.
Tourette's boy.
yeah.
Just classic.
That was-
Real original.
Simple
guys.
it to the point. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
They'll make fun of you for anything in middle school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Twitch was another common one too. That
Twitch.
was, it's like, hey, what's up, Twitch?
Yeah.
Twitch is kind of a cool nickname.
Yeah, and that
Twitch,
was
yeah, it's not bad.
that one came later in high school, and at that point, I was just like, dude, I mean, like, really? Like,
Oh, your
that's the best
skin was
way-
leathery
yeah, I
by
was
that point.
like,
Yeah.
dude, this is nothing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I rarely got people that would like mock me, that would like try to mock my tics and stuff like that. There was one guy that would do it. Just he didn't know it was a tic, and so it was like every time I'd see him, I would like kind of one of my tics was it was like the what's up head nod.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Nice.
so-
He just thought you're trying to fuck with him.
yeah, literally. And so he kept doing that every time he'd see me.
It's like, hey, this guy loves me. He's always happy to see me.
Yeah, and so
Saw.
what's up? And I told him, I was like, yo, that's actually one of my tics. And he felt so terrible about it. And then,
It's like, I'm not actually trying to say hi to you. Just taking it.
yeah.
Carl's like, he's dead now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it wasn't, like I said, it kind of just depended on who I was around. But my friends, obviously, they knew it was a part of me. And even like my friends nowadays, they say that a lot of them say that they just kind of forget that I have it.
Yeah,
because
you
it's
don't
not-
notice it after a while.
Yeah,
It's just part of who you are.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, like I said, it's not nearly what it used to be. It's not,
You're like, shit, I'm high right now.
it's the medicine really helps, and it was a life changer for me. But I also do think I've just grown out of it finally, and just being an adult and being just kind of out in the real world, and so, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Should.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is nice. That weed helps so much.
Yeah, it's.
I hate like Parkinson's too. Like my uncle Craig, he dabs all the fucking time, and like he's just shake like a motherfucker, Like, don't get a haircut from that guy,
Yeah, get your circumcisions elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So your stories before weed would be like 20 minutes trying to get through the story. And then after starting weed, I'm sure that there were like 30 minutes trying to explain the story being
Yeah.
baked out of your mind. So it probably didn't shorten the stories that much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Baked out of your mind because you were given a few different types of cannabis, right? They gave you capsules that had like little wax in them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You had a sublingual
sound potent.
spray.
And then I also had.
I remember trying that
like
one.
an oral
Yeah.
suspension kind of liquid that you would put in a syringe. That was like the first one that I took. Was this liquid that you'd put in a syringe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Where'd
it's-
you put it?
It's like a tincture, right?
Damn, so they just gave you a bunch of edibles, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
It's just samples.
It gave me such a weird high, like such a weird feeling. I didn't enjoy it. Like even like a tiny little amount of it just made me feel so weird.
That was
Yeah.
the liquid.
Yeah.
You're like, Doc, where's my bag, though?
Yeah.
You got any nugs? For me? I mean, can a brother get a nug?
Does straight CBD work, or it has to be THC?
They did try like some of the stuff they gave me was like a mixture of a little bit of CBD and a little bit of THC.
Yep.
I think it's the
I hear that gets
I
you even
think
higher
it's
when you
the
mix them.
more mellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a better high.
Yeah,
the
I
higher
I think
CBD.
the THC is what really like kind of stops the ticks.
Nice.
The CBD,
Because that's the it makes sense. That's the
Yeah.
psychoactive
yeah. I mean the
ingredient.
CBD,
CBD is
will-
more central nervous system.
Yeah, the CBD will chill me
depressing,
out
so.
if I'm if I'm having like anxiety or something.
Yeah.
It'll kind of chill me out. But yeah, for the most part, I'm pretty sure it's the actual THC that helps with the tics.
Nice, cool. Yeah, thank God, man. I feel like being medicated for it would suck more. I feel like there'd be a lot of side effects to the medications.
Yeah, it was crazy growing up and trying different medications. And switching from different doctors.
Oh, dude, you would take meds that would make you gain 20 pounds, and then you take meds that make you lose 20 pounds.
Yeah,
Just being tested on.
Yeah.
I mean, you were
so many. I mean, I went through so many different things that every little tiny thing was this because of the Tourette's? Is this because of the Tourette's? Is this because of the medication that you're on because of the Tourette's?
It's that Molly that the doctor gave you.
Yeah.
yeah.
There was one point where I had to have an MRI done because I started having like some like tingling in one of my like a couple of my fingers. I had lost sensation in like a couple of my fingers and they got numb. And the doctor thought that maybe when I was doing one of my head ticks, I like
pinched a nerve,
nerve or something. And
you had some violent head ticks where
I
you would
really
like
did.
just throw your head forward
Oh,
all day long.
Yeah,
you were doing that.
I had some real it was
and it's like that can't be good for your neck.
It was really bad at times. I mean, I had ones where I would just kind of punch the air with my arms, and it was really fun when I'd like walk past somebody and do that and accidentally hit something out of their hand.
Yeah, that's nice.
Walking out of the cafeteria in middle school, and someone had gotten a cookie from the a la carte, and walking back to class, and I did that and knocked it out of their hand, and they're just like, "What the hell, bro?"
Show him, Carl.
I was like, "Sorry, can't help it."
Yeah.
Is it? One of you guys is parked behind Jen.
Oh, is it?
Oh, am I parked? Here, I'll move my car. Is it a black SUV? Yeah. Yep. I'll be right back.
All right, we'll be
no
back.
worries. All right, good stuff, Carl. Very interesting that something you've gone through, and you know what percentage of the population has Tourette's?
I don't know. I think I've looked it up at some point, but I mean, I think it's higher than you would expect.
I would probably say so. You've gone to like some seminars where there's been speakers that have had Tourette's, and they kind of talk about their experiences with it.
Yeah.
I've met only a couple people that like are actually around my age that have had it. There was one in high school that I had known like throughout, even because I had known this kid even since as early as like 6th grade, and he had there was like one just very specific tic he had. It was just he'd shake his head like no all the time, and so I had always assumed he had some kind of special needs, but I never really thought it's Tourette's because it wasn't like. Like the thing about Tourette's is it's just like it's usually very sudden movements are the tics. They're very quick, sudden movements that are kind of random and sporadic. And and the thing about Tourette's is it can be very different. Everybody has different tics.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's tics are completely different.
Yeah.
And so I never really thought like, hey, this kid has Tourette's, and so.
He was just being loose with it.
Yeah, just disagreeable.
Yeah.
And, well, basically, it came into like when I got into high school, I had always kind of assumed that I was the only kid in the high school that had Tourette's, and the nurse kind of said, "Well, I can't like tell you who these people are, but I will tell you there are 2 other people in the school that have Tourette's," and so I was pretty sure I knew. I was like, okay, he's got to be one of them at least.
Right.
And so I actually asked him one day, because he and I were never like close or anything. He was very quiet. He didn't talk much. He didn't, really have a lot of friends and everything. And so I just asked him one day, and I said, "Hey, do you have Tourette's?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was just like, "Oh, me too."
Let's start a club.
No,
Tourette's club.
But he didn't
Yeah.
really
After school.
He didn't really seem like he wanted to talk about it. And
Do
so,
talent shows.
And so he didn't really seem like he wanted to talk about it, and I kind of just left it alone. And I never.
Oh, why would you not want to talk to someone else
Right?
that has
I
it?
know,
yeah.
That's like you found your people, man.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
And then I did meet a coworker at one point who had it as well, and he was a couple years younger than me, like I think I had noticed at first. I was like, he has tics. That's okay. And then I don't remember. Like I think at one point someone saw me doing tics. One of my other coworkers saw me doing tics. They're like, dude, what the fuck? Why are you mocking him? You're such an ass. and I said, what are you talking about, dude? I have Tourette's. And
It's like, oh, sure you do.
yeah. He's like, oh no, you're just copying that from what he said. And,
Yeah.
and I was like, he has Tourette's. And yeah. So we ended up. I kind of talked to him and I said, I have Tourette's too, and he said, yeah, I know, and and I kind of tried to talk to him and ask him some questions, and we talked a little bit back and forth, but eventually he just told me, man, I'm sorry, I'm not really open about it. I like to just kind of ignore it and have it not be a part of my life. And I was like, oh. I said, I'm sorry. I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I said, it's not going anywhere. It's been a part of me this long. I have to acknowledge it. I have to make fun of it. I have to talk about it. Otherwise, that's the only way I can.
Yeah, you can't suppress it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a daily thing.
And and even like my closest friends, they know that they can crack jokes with me about it, and they can. They know that I'm totally cool with them. Just as like the thing is, it's like if I know you're doing it to be funny, and I know you're just in it to make jokes with me and have a good time and laugh, and you're not directly trying to make fun of me or to hurt me.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just jokes.
And it's pretty easy to tell the difference between the two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's just it's a part of me. It's always been a part of me. It always will be a part of me. There's no reason for me to not acknowledge it.
It's great outlook on it, man.
Yeah. And it's just it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And so and I love talking about it. I love trying to educate if I can.
Because a lot of people do have the misconception of being like the Hollywood Tourette's, where you just say fuck all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a big misconception. And I mean, a lot of people do have that as well. But the thing about that is it's not always just swear words either. It can be literally anything. I mean, some people can just say chair over and over again.
Sure. Some people have this like the intrusive thought to say the most like the worst possible thing at the worst possible time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
They actually just say it.
and they just say it because they
Yeah.
can't control that impulse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What about all these TikTok girls that say that they have Tourette's? Do any of them have Tourette's?
I've watched a lot of
Probably
them.
not, right?
A lot of people say, oh, this one's fake, that one's fake. It is really hard to tell. I mean, for anyone to go on social media like that and to fake it to try and get views is fucked up.
And common.
Yes.
Yeah. What about there's this girl who has like a TV show coming out about how bad of Tourette she has.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer for that.
Yeah, the trailer. Like, okay, so you know the thing how they start off shows with like they like slap that little black thing and they're like, and action.
Oh,
you know that.
Yeah.
So they're recording it while that's happening, and she's sitting behind that little thing, and she's like, slap a baby wiener, slap that baby's wiener, and then they go to her. And they're like, "Oh, hi, Molly. So how long have you had Tourette's for?" She's like, "Look at that little baby wiener. I've had it for about 2 years. Oh, your dad's nothing to me." And it's like, that doesn't sound like Tourette's. That sounds like an insane person. Because with Tourette's, are you actually saying full sentences that are objectively hilarious?
I mean, it's tough to say because
Slap a baby wiener? Is that a thing that would be common to say with Tourette's?
I don't know. I mean, I've had
You're the subject matter expert
really-
on this.
I've had really weird tics too. Some people have had really, it really depends.
Almost anything you can think of can be a tick. What was some of your weirdest ones, Carl? Like out of pocket stuff. Not really the stuff you said, but just weird. Because they kind of cycled, right?
Yeah.
You would have like the new one, like you would have a cycle of tics that you maybe went for a couple of months, and then you would develop a new one. And I knew exactly when it happened because then it would progressively get worse, and that would be like your new tick for the next month or two.
Dang.
One I do have is I'll hit the side of my glasses.
Oh.
Or like hit my face a lot.
Yeah.
I'll do that. There was one that I used to have where I'd if I was walking, I'd I'd have to like almost like kind of skip in a way, like I have to like pick up my feet and like kind of like skip across the ground a couple times, and then
Did you ever fall?
no, I never fell, but
What about stairs? Are stairs like kind of off
yes,
limits?
I have fallen down the stairs a couple times because of that tick. And
Okay,
I
that
still-
hurts.
I still do that sometimes, and so I have to.
You're a big railing guy.
And especially now after my big shoulder injury, I try to make sure that like when I'm going down the stairs, I just like really make sure like okay, just it's a couple seconds to just not do this tick, just walk normally and just kind of
So when
Yeah.
you're trying to suppress a tick, which you can do for a period of time, right?
yeah for a short period of time.
What does that feel like when you're trying to suppress it?
So
Probably like holding in a sneeze.
yeah, that's a great way to describe it. It's like that, or it's also like, or like if you have like a slight OCD, I don't know, like you
Compulsion?
compulsion, yeah, like you want like you feel like you need to do something, and so you're thinking about it. Like if you're just sitting here and you're thinking, I'm really thirsty, I want to pick up that glass of water and take a drink. And you just sit there and you just keep thinking about it. I want to pick up that glass of water and take a
And
drink.
every
Wow.
fiber of your being is
It's just-
telling you to do
I
this.
don't
telling you
need
to
it.
do it, but there's a part of you.
Definitely
Yeah,
don't need
I
it.
definitely don't need it. And so you're trying to just not do. And so
Yeah.
for a certain extent, you can do it. But
Does it build up? Does like the
it
tension
does.
build up?
It
That
does-
sounds so much
it
like
does build
OCD.
up until
That
you
sounds-
finally do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you finally do it.
Yeah,
and
they're
you
very
feel
much
better.
rooted in the same concept.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's why
They're compulsions.
That's
Yep.
why that doctor, that neurologist, did really truly think that that it would help, and he was. I mean, he was right. He was on the right track for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't think that for my specific situation that it was the OCD meds that would have changed anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and
Do you know what a muscle facilitation is?
no.
It's where like a lot of people get them in their eyelids and their eyelid will like twitch uncontrollably
okay.
for a
Mhm.
while. Little things like that, like a chest muscle will just like twitch.
Yep.
Is it like that ever where it's just like unstoppable and you don't even realize that it's going to happen, or is it always like this compulsion to do it?
It's usually a compulsion. It's usually
Okay.
like I feel it coming on and I'm going to do this tick. Sometimes, it'll be like I have to do a certain amount of them in a row until I can.
Got to hit those combos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'll do a bunch of them in a row and then I can finally do something else or whatever. And it's so it's usually like I feel it coming on. I feel like, okay, I got to do this tick and I got to get it out of the way. But also just by being 25 and having Tourette's my entire life, there is a sense of just autopilot when it happens, and
Right.
Right.
it's a part of me now, and I'll just be doing it, and
Yeah.
but it is I guess going back to the question about weird ones. Sometimes the vocal ones, when they're the vocal motor tics, they'll get really crazy. Like if I'm in the car by myself, and
That's when you can just let loose.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And
Don't have to hold it in,
and
yeah.
I'll do it, and I'll just go nuts with them, and
Yeah.
I bet you that feels really good.
Yeah.
it does. I
Yeah.
just make a bunch of weird sounds. Anybody that was in the car with me would just be like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck is going on with
Yeah.
this guy?"
What kind of sounds?
Just I don't know, like just
It's like taking the family boat out on your own just so you can say the N word.
There's
There's no one
in the
around.
lake.
It's like, ain't no one around. Looks like I can say
There's
it.
a little dolphin that's poking his head up. Like, I heard that. I know your secret.
slap that baby wiener. I got to show you that video, man. I need you to assess if it's real or not. I need you to look into it because I don't think it's real.
yeah. I mean, I don't. It's tough to say, especially since I don't have the outburst tics.
I bet you if you sat down face to face and talked to her for 5-10 minutes,
Yep.
you could get a
Yeah.
good idea.
What are you talking about?
So have you seen there's a new show coming
TLC
to,
show.
Yes, with that girl.
It's that chick that her name's like Braylon or Brylan or some shit like that.
Exactly.
Yep. And she's literally in line, like TSA, going, "I have a gun, pew pew."
I saw that video. I saw that
so it's
video.
her. That's so crazy.
I would love to do a social experiment, but like just have me do it. I have a gun, pew pew.
Oh, I am sorry. I have Tourette's.
You'd probably need like a Tourette's card or something to get away with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, something.
I do think for a situation like that, if
She's faking it.
yeah,
It looks showboaty for sure.
because the thing about Tourette's is yes, tics can be different, but for the most part, one person does have like a certain set of tics that they usually do.
They're
You know, and so
Hers are
their
sentences.
go-tos.
yes, so
That pertain
I
to
saw
what she's
Like I
doing.
saw a video of another woman that really does have vocal outburst tics, and she
Probably not.
and she
It's probably fake.
and she says like the word biscuit all the time. And the way she does it is it's like biscuit, and it's quick and it's like
biscuit
you,
is kind of
Random
fun to say.
too.
But it's funny.
It's a good word to
random,
say.
Yeah.
and it's like you can just kind of it doesn't mean anything really. It's just you can tell that it's just kind of like her whole body kind of tenses up when she does it. Biscuit. And so when she does that, it's like you can tell. Okay, that's a tic. Typically, if someone's going to be standing in TSA line, and they're going to be saying "I have a gun" a bunch of times, typically that's unless it's this girl's first time ever being in an airport and flying, you would think that there's probably there would have been other issues in the past with stuff like that, and if that were the case, you would think that she'd have a special card or some kind of something
Like a Tourette's dog.
Yeah. She got through the line too, just fine.
So that is something
That was crazy.
And I'm not.
She's
saying,
a psycho.
I'm
dude.
not saying one way or another, but it is. Yeah, little things like that make me do kind of question it a little bit. Like, okay, is this really like it does seem convenient that that's what she's like. I have a gun.
Yep.
Well, and
We'll
that she
have
can
a
make
watch
it
party.
like she can go into showbiz with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
she can
Yeah.
get some mileage out of it.
And it happens right when they start recording, and it's extremely funny right away.
That's true.
Yeah, everything showbiz related is scripted to an extent, so
Yeah.
you'd have to assume that there's some scriptedness to it as well. Because
Yeah.
like if she just didn't do it, if she had more mild tics
Yeah.
or didn't feel the need to do one, it wouldn't make for as good of TV.
No,
Right?
No. You know that she sits down at night and writes out like little one-liners that she's going to say the next day. Because like, what are some other things that she says? She says like, slap that baby wiener, and she's also like, your dad's not shit. Nope, no, he's not. Sorry about that. What?
That'd be a good way to just, I don't know, just to say anything you fucking want.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it probably feels good.
It's kind of a pass. Yeah.
I think there was one where she was like, "Your dad has a vagina."
Yeah, right? She crushes people's dads. Yeah.
Shit.
Damn.
Think about dating her. That would suck.
She's got a boyfriend on the show.
She's kind of hot.
Well,
That's
that
another reason
wouldn't
why I don't think she has
suck
Tourette's.
that bad.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so.
could
And
be
her
worse.
name's
She could
Brittany.
not be hot.
But is she hot enough to like deal with all that?
No, I don't.
She's not that hot, no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
No. Just hot enough to get a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah. So when alcoholics are in the throes of alcoholism, they're like really dampening the neurons firing in their brain. So that's why when they stop drinking, that's why oftentimes they'll have seizures, because their brain is trying to like reactivate those neuronal pathways. So that's why they're like so overstimulated when they stop drinking. Have you ever just gotten sloshed?
Yeah,
Okay, does that like, do you have more tics or do you have less when you do that?
I'd say less actually.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Alcohol usually chills me out when if I'm drinking.
Yeah. Can they prescribe that?
I don't.
Like a glass of whiskey
Just
in
get
the
hammered.
morning? Yeah, just stay trippy.
in the middle of my shift, just
He's writing you a script to go to the liquor store.
He's got a medical alcohol card.
Yeah.
a bottle of Crown and just
Yeah.
swig. But no, I mean stuff like caffeine for sure. Like I can't drink a lot of I can't drink heavy energy drinks like Monsters and Red Bulls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where I was drinking like a Monster or at least one or two a day.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I slowly started, having an up.
Biscuit.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so-
I think if anybody drinks 2 Monsters, their leg's going to shake. Like, they're going to get
Yeah.
a little...
Yeah.
Something's
Well,
going
it's just excess energy that your body's trying to get out.
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
and nicotine too. I've
Yeah.
you know, I noticed a long time ago. One time, I'm just like trying someone's vape, and I was like, this makes me kind of tick a lot.
Yeah.
Neurostimulant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of identifying like what triggers it and what makes it worse, and
Avoiding those things.
Yeah.
things, and or also just nerves or excitement. One thing that is kind of crazy that I started noticing. So every year, right around August, like late August into September, my tics start to spike. And usually it's because that's right when school was starting back up.
Mm.
And so after I graduated high school and I started working full time, I noticed that it would happen again every late August or early September, even though I was no longer in school. And it still happens to this day. It still happens every year.
That's
It's right
interesting.
around that time. Like
Yeah.
during and it lasts all throughout the fall. And the fall is just it spiked.
You go into like an autopilot of like anxiety of like,
Yep.
like school starting, even though I've been in school the last fucking like.
Do you
7
guys
years.
get that
Yeah.
too? I
Exactly.
get that a little bit. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Late August, like Labor Day, like that Monday before school always started, I'll sit on my front porch and drink a beer and mourn the loss of summer. Still,
Yeah. Yeah.
just because it was such a sentimental time for at this point, probably still most of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so I really think that you know, for me, and that's what it's kind of crazy about when it comes to Tourette's and having these tics is that I think that what I'm feeling and what's causing these tics are normal things that people go through all the time. It's just for me the reaction is just getting a bunch of tics, you know. And for other people, it's like they may start to show little minor tics
Yeah.
when they're in these stressful situations. And I wonder if maybe that's just a normal reaction for the body to when it's in a high stress mode.
Yeah.
Or in these certain kind of
Definitely.
kind of feelings is if show a little bit of tics. But with me having full on Tourette's, it just brings it up.
Yeah. Getting teed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And then probably when you start a tick, do you get a little self-conscious, then you start ticking more? Or it's like,
yeah.
you know.
Yep, for sure. And yeah, I mean, trying to suppress it makes it worse.
Yep.
And so, as an adult now, and I mean, there are still certain settings where I still try to suppress it, not necessarily because I'm embarrassed about it, but it's just like
You'd rather not deal with it.
I'd rather not deal with it, or like if it's the really like the grunt, if I'm just in public, I'm just like, and it's just like,
Yeah.
people are gonna turn around, they're gonna look at you, and it's like, yeah, I dealt with this in high school, but like I just don't want to, and so
Yeah.
I will try to kind of suppress it for the most part, and but I sometimes like if I'm working with a new coworker that I haven't worked with before, and I'm riding along with them in their work van,
Yeah. You'll grunt them up.
and I'll have to just kind of tell them, hey, just so you know, like I have Tourette's. This is why I do this, and
Yeah. Yeah.
And so most of the time they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's whatever, and they don't really. There are some times where when I tell people, they're just like, well, yeah, I've always known that, just because sometimes people can just tell right away, and then there are other people that I told them.
But that's racism,
Yeah, right.
It is.
Well, it's like when you tell someone
don't
that you're
see
gay
tics.
and you're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, obviously.
Just
Well,
Who doesn't
yeah,
know? That's
but-
just
like
who
I
you
don't
are.
see color, I don't see ticks. But yeah, and there are other people that I tell them, and they're like, I've known you for 5 years, and I never would have known that about you.
That says more about them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're not
Yeah.
observant.
Yeah, that's crazy.
my boss found out after. Well, I'm 25 years old and I have Tourette's. I've dealt with enough bullshit in my life to deal with this, and I didn't notice it at the time, but like he kind of like just the way he reacted when I said I have Tourette's, and so a couple days later, we were outside and he offered, he pulled out his pack of cigarettes to smoke, and offered me one, and I said, no, that's okay. Nicotine and Tourette's don't mix very well. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's right. You have Tourette's. And I said, yeah, didn't you know that? And he said, not until up until a week ago. And
you'd known this guy for a while.
yeah, I've been at this company for 3 years. And
Wow.
and I said, really? I said, I've worked for you for 3 years. You haven't known this? And he said, I don't pay attention to your personal life. I said, it's not really my personal life. It's just my life.
Thing to say. Yeah, I tick in my spare time.
Whatever you do at home, do it at home.
Oh, I got to run home. I forgot to leave my Tourette's at home. I accidentally brought it with me.
This guy's dealing with stuff of his own. That's crazy. Maybe he's blind and you don't know it. Maybe he's,
You can't be dealing with Tourette's at work. That's got to be on your own time.
yeah. Dang, man. Yeah,
Shit.
that's
He's
crazy.
like so right wing. He doesn't understand Tourette's. He's just like, if it's your choice, it's your choice, boy. It's just
What do you want to do?
Yeah, he's probably just a lib.
lib.
Yeah, wow.
Damn. I remember a time when everybody just stood still. These goddamn commies in there twitching.
when we would grunt, we would do it in the vicinity of our house. Okay.
Back in my day, we had to twitch. You go in your own time and do it at your own place. Don't bother nobody else with your old twitching.
Whatever two men do with twitches in their bedroom, that is their business.
That's between them and the Lord. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything, like any tics or any like weird twitches that you guys do voluntarily as a stress response at all?
I don't think so. I mean, I just do the
As he's doing.
it's doing an actual take.
That's a tick.
I don't think you do either. You're when you're chilling, like you're kind of stone solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an Easter Island head.
Yeah,
Oh,
stoned.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling you that, Easter Island head.
Yeah. I have the sweatiest hands known to mankind.
Really?
Yeah, and it's
Like nervous sweat.
Yeah, I mean, so I have it constantly at all times. I mean, even right now, I constantly sweaty hands. But I notice it when I think about it. I'm like, I have sweaty hands right now. Those things, I can get them to drip down my fingers. I can get it to drip. I can do this, and sweat will drip off.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's been tough.
You've been doing the electroshock.
Yeah, I kind of jumped off it
Therapy?
for a little bit just because it's every day for an hour and a half. And I'm like, that's such a huge commitment.
So
to
explain
do.
it. Explain it again for our listener.
Yeah, so hyperhidrosis. So it's excessive sweating. It's a miscommunication between the nerve endings and I think they're called the eccrine sweat glands. So it's the watery sweat that you get from your hands and feet, and it's not like the sticky kind of sebummy sweat that you get in your armpits and butt crack. And so I've been doing this thing called ionophoresis, which disconnects the nerve communication to the sweat gland, and so it completely wipes out any sweating. And it's a minor electrical shock that you get through your hands and feet. I dip my hands in a bucket of water, and I get shocked. So I do that on and off, but you have to do it for an hour and a half every day. So it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, that's almost not worth it. I mean, if you know that, because it works short term, right? If you do it once, then you're good for a day.
Yeah. Well, no. So you do it for
have to build it up.
3 weeks consistently every day. You'll be good for 2 weeks of not sweating.
Okay.
But then you have to start doing it every other day. And eventually you can get to a point where you're just coasting and you can do it once a week. But you have to do it very consistently for 3-4 months to get there. And honestly, I just fall off. I'll do it for 3 weeks and then I'll just kind of fall off because for a little bit my hands won't be sweating. So I'm like, I'm good now.
Yep.
And then my hands will start sweating again. I'm like, I don't want to get back into it. I have to set it up, and it's so it's 2 buckets of water. And if you leave water just sitting out, your house will start to smell like a lake. And I don't love that. And you're getting shocked the whole time. So Ryan tried it, and it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't feel great.
It doesn't feel great. It's kind of uncomfortable. It kind of makes you grit your teeth a little bit.
Yeah, it's like maybe the way I can explain it is, imagine if you had a bunch of little cuts on your hand and you put them into diluted lemon juice. It's just
yes.
a bunch of little
Stings.
stings. Yeah, or
Yeah.
you know, like when you rest on your arm and your hand gets that tingly sensation. Imagine if it was that, but painful. Like all those.
Yeah,
little
that's a great way to
tingles.
put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a few cuts on my hand, and I felt every single one of them. when I
You'll
put
find
it in
them
there.
immediately.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll find them.
It's like
immediately.
it's like I dipped my hand into a bucket of hand sanitizer.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had to get a waiver for the military because I have hyperhidrosis. I had to get a waiver from a
Really?
doctor to get in. Yeah,
Because they don't want you holding guns.
because you'll just slip around on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're trying to choke out like a foreigner, they're worried that your hands will just slide.
You won't be able
He's
to
just
effectively waterboard.
He's just
exactly,
lubing
yeah.
up Ahmed's neck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They don't want you like wiping off your hands before
Before you decapitate a
yeah,
terrorist.
before cutting off somebody's head.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You should just keep a handkerchief in your back pocket instead of using it to blow your nose. Just pull it out and dry your hands every couple of hours.
Yeah, you should just not tick.
Just
Right? Like, well, you know what I mean? Like it's like this thing. Like yeah, sure, I can wipe them off, but immediately they'll get sweaty
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
right.
So yeah.
Ryan. It's like in Pulp Fiction. He's got the gun and he's like facing the back seat.
Yeah.
And it slips and just
Just kills the guy. That's my favorite
Shoots
part of
him
that
in the
movie.
head.
Dude.
ah shit. Hyperhidrosis.
Yeah. Yeah.
You tick? Oh fuck, Carl, you'd be a terrible hitman.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Carl, do you ever cut people's hair?
Do I ever cut people?
Yeah, you should start.
No.
You should cut people's hair that you don't like.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
good.
That'd be really good. Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, come over here, asshole. Let me cut your hair.
Have you been circumcised? You're not? Do you want to be? I'll circumcise you right
take
now.
care of that
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you're writing with your hand? When you're focusing on a thing, is it better or worse?
Usually, when I'm focusing on something, it's better.
Okay, yeah, that makes
If I-
sense.
If I really take time to focus on something that I'm doing, or if I'm like saying something, or like standing up in front of someone and focused on like giving the speech or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just kind of like
Carl, hold your mic up.
my whole body will kind of go into like a calming mode and
Like a
just-
trance.
Yeah, just kind of
Yeah.
like my brain just kind of knows that
It's
hey,
focus time.
yeah, this is
That's
focus
nice.
time. You're in a setting here, and it also is kind of crazy how, if I'm like when I'm back when I worked in concessions, I would be like really busy throughout the whole day, ton of customers, really long line, back and forth taking orders. And so the whole day, like my ticks wouldn't be very crazy. And then at the end of the day, after we closed, and it was just my manager and I let out just this big, huge one. And he like looked at me and he was just like, "Holy shit, biggest I've ever seen."
Did it feel good?
It did feel,
Yeah.
felt great. And
Good.
so
Good for you.
It was like a sense of I'm in a safe spot now. I trust the person that I was with.
Like finally I can climax.
It's like edging all day long. You
Yeah.
finally.
finally bust the biggest nut.
Yeah.
Been holding that one in for a while.
ah, so relieved.
Oh man. Yeah, it is like a big relief when you can let like a big one like that out after holding it in.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that.
Which I mean, I feel like that's common for pretty much anything. If you were to hold something in for a long time and finally let it out, it would feel
A fart.
that
Yeah.
would feel
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Universally accepted as a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Love it.
I mean, yeah, like on a date when you're trying to hold in like the ticks, trying to hold in the fart, and then afterwards you can just let it rip. Like that is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So what else? What else? What are you guys thinking about? What's been on your minds?
What's been on your mind, Joe? You always got something cooking?
Yeah. So I got this Garmin watch recently. And it shows stress levels. And it shows stress levels based on like heart rate variability. And I've noticed this thing that I've been thinking about a lot recently. So when you guys go through like a full work week, do you like to just take a day to rot? To just do nothing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fridays.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Fridays. Okay, yeah. Just a day to do nothing and just rot on the couch.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes. The past 2 days for me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I
So
watched like 6 movies.
It feels kind of good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It makes going back to work feel manageable.
Yeah.
But if you do it, if you just rot the whole weekend and then go back to work, it's not good. Your weekends need to have one rot day, one productive day where you feel like you
Yeah.
accomplished something on the
Yeah.
weekend. I think
Yeah.
that's a good mix.
Oh yeah, when I was on a cruise for like 11 days, when I got back to work, I could not get back into like the rhythm of it. It was like a rough week for me.
Right.
I spent like 11 days just drinking my face off.
Yeah.
So
And then getting back, just changing like your lifestyle that you've had for the last 11 days.
Yeah.
Just being a lush.
yeah, I was just an alcoholic for 10 days straight.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So with this watch, it tells me my stress levels. On days that I rot, my stress levels are consistently way higher than they even are at
Really?
work. Yeah. My stress levels are like, so it's 0 to 100. My stress levels when I just lay around and do nothing for a day are consistently like 70 to 90. So I'm like stressed out the entire day.
Do you think it's because you feel like you should be doing something when you're laying there?
I
Do
mean,
you feel guilty?
yeah. Well, if I do it for too long, I feel guilty. I always thought that doing it, I would feel better, but I do notice, and now having like some data with it, I do notice that I don't feel great the next day if I spend the whole day rotting.
Sure.
I don't even feel good that night if I spend the whole day rotting. And so now, like, actually seeing that my stress levels are higher,
Yeah.
if I really want to rot for a day, I need to, like, wake up, go on a walk or something.
Sonic cold plunge.
Yeah, something to just, like, be able to earn the rot. Otherwise, yeah, my stress levels are just, like, high the
a good way
whole
to put
day.
it.
So, like, I don't think we really get free days. I don't think it works because I think we just get more stressed out trying to take a free day.
Right. I agree with that. I oftentimes will feel guilty about how I spent my weekend.
Yeah.
And I'll feel worse about it. I'll feel like once Friday rolls around, I'll feel like, yes, I'm so excited to just do nothing.
Yeah.
And it'll feel great. It'll be awesome. It'll be rejuvenating.
Yep.
And then I do that for both days of the weekend, and then I get back to work on Monday, and I'm like, fuck, I could have done so much more. That would have been more fulfilling.
Yeah. And it's because I'm sure that if you tracked it, like I'm sure your stress levels are actually higher throughout the weekend not doing anything. And I think it's because we have like a set amount of energy that we make. And if we just sit and try to sit with all that like energy moving around,
Right.
We're-
You're not
it's just gonna come
expending
out as
that
stress.
energy.
You're not
Like
expending
when
that
you're working,
energy.
you're using that energy towards a goal, even though it's shitty in the moment. You're still using that energy up, and by
Yeah.
the end of it, you've accomplished something,
Yeah.
and you've earned the time to chill.
Yeah.
And those chill times feel way better and more authentic after you've
Right.
done something.
Like if you have the entire Saturday to do nothing, that feels kind of good. But if after work you get 2 hours to chill, that feels so much better to like
I
take
agree.
that time to
Yeah.
chill because you've already done the thing.
I agree.
So then like how I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to understand this life. So I feel like how I'm looking at it for myself, I feel like we're in a hole that's constantly being filled up with dirt, and every day we need to like shovel out some of that dirt. So that's why it doesn't work to sit and do nothing, because the hole is just going to fill up with more dirt,
Yep.
and then we're just going to feel shittier about it. So like that's why you just got to like get out a little bit of the dirt in the morning or afternoon, whatever, and then you can feel good about sitting in the hole.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to sit on a toilet that's full of shit.
Exactly.
You got to flush it.
You got to flush
Yep.
some of it away.
Yep, you got to take the initiative and flush that toilet down.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't understand Joe's metaphor until you put it in perspective of.
I know you
I
understand
was like,
toilets.
I
That's
need-
why
yeah.
I'm like, Adam's not getting this. He's never
Thank
dug a
you.
hole in his life. He's sat on many
Taking
shitty
plenty
toilets
of
though.
shits.
Yeah.
Joe, you're not getting through to him. Picture you're shitting.
That's good. Yeah, so I've been thinking about that recently, and then I'm trying to like expand the metaphor a little bit. So I want to use the toilet one, but I haven't thought about the toilet one yet. I really was thinking about the whole one. So maybe we can translate it again. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking like being in a relationship is nice because you have somebody who's in their own hole and you're in your own hole, and you're shoveling out some of the dirt in your own hole. When you're in a relationship, it's nice because they can come out and shovel away like 2 scoops of dirt from your hole. So it's nice because they're not entering the hole with you and shoveling out your dirt because they have their own hole where they're shoveling out their dirt. They come over and they shovel out a little bit of yours. You shovel out a little bit of theirs.
Right.
So that's like, yeah.
Yeah, so Adam, what he's saying there is when you're in a public restroom and they're shitting and you hear the guy next to you shitting and he's farting, it's diarrhea going on over there. And you know it's diarrhea going on in your stall too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's out of toilet paper and he needs more. He'll ask you for some, but you have to have your hole filled first
Yeah.
before you can go and fill somebody else's.
That makes perfect sense.
Yep. Yep.
Because you can't just be giving away your TP and not have enough for yourself to help that guy.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, right?
That's exactly what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you can't be out of toilet paper and give somebody some toilet paper.
Exactly.
You always need to be, you know,
Well, you can't give away your toilet paper if you don't have if your ass isn't clean.
exactly.
Right. Yep, that's fair.
Make
Because
sure your
then-
ass is clean before you
Because
clean other
then
people's
one
ass.
person is going to come out with a dirty ass either way.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Does
Yeah,
that
just-
make
yeah.
sense to you, Adam? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I've just been
got it
thinking.
now?
I'll understand anything in terms of poop.
Nice. Oh damn. Yeah. What about you guys? What have you guys been thinking about?
So I've been thinking about this has come up almost like every other podcast. Adam will drop a movie reference, and I just always feel like I haven't seen enough movies that I feel like I
Yeah,
should
you're
have
like, I don't know
seen.
what the fuck he's talking
Yeah, I know, and I think it's an important part of modern society to understand cultural references like that. And I'm not saying I'm completely naive on things. I mean, I'm pretty well read, considering. I listen to most of the music that people talk about, but the movies, that's always been the thing that I can't relate to. So
Yeah, it's like part of pop culture to
yeah, exactly.
understand some references.
I think it's a part of being a productive. Well, maybe productive is not the right word, but contributing,
Relating with people.
relatable member of society.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I think movies are art pieces. Like there's movies that I think everybody should watch. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a handful of them that I've just been meaning to watch for forever, and I took Friday off of work, and I spent like the last 2 days watching a ton of movies that I've always wanted to see. So I saw the Shawshank Redemption.
Right.
I watched Memento, which that's a 10 in my book.
I've never seen Memento.
Memento is phenomenal.
Christopher Nolan
Yeah, dude, you
directed
should
that
watch
one.
it.
It's a
It's
good one.
pretty brilliant. I watched Fight Club, which I'm glad I did because I had the complete wrong idea of Fight Club. I thought it was going to be like some kind of Rocky, like
No, it's kind of a
it's
mindfuck
very
type movie.
little actually about fighting. Fighting is a very little part of it, and I had no idea about that. So that's why I kind of avoided it for a while. But I'm really glad I watched it.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice like boys club. It's like the best therapeutic session for boys
It's cool, man.
before they blow up the credit card building.
Yeah, well, and it's like it's a commentary on like the human condition of needing something to feel.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're just not a cog in the machine or like a sheep.
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
so-
exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
You're doing your own thing. You're doing it with people.
Sometimes getting punched in the face just reminds you that you're alive.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And it's nice too. Like the people go hard when they fight. They say the skinny guys go until they're ground beef. It's nice.
And they all love it.
They all love it.
Yeah.
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 Fight Club's when he's beating the shit out of himself in like his boss's office, right?
Yes.
Oh, I love that scene.
That's a good scene.
Yeah. Tyler Durden.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I watched Pulp Fiction,
Fantastic.
which
Good one.
was absolutely, I was blown away. That was a 10.
Yep.
Because coming off of watching like a more serious movie like Shawshank Redemption, and
you
then
in Shawshank Pulp Fiction?
I went Memento, Shawshank, Pulp Fiction, yes.
Okay.
Which is a brilliant way to do it because Shawshank is like the perfectly polished, like mainstream, like 10 out of 10 story. Feel good at the end. Everything just comes to a head perfectly. It's a very well polished movie.
Yep.
Yep. It's kind of like the Count of Monte Cristo about a prison escape.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's not even really. I mean, it's about a story of character growth and a relationship that spans over 2 decades, and it's just a very, very well written, well executed movie. Pulp Fiction is almost the antithesis of it, where it's chaotic and just the absurdity of it just hit me perfectly at the right time.
Yeah.
Just the chaotic energy of it,
Yeah.
the unpredictability is fantastic.
Yeah, the scene where Travolta is talking to Uma Thurman and they're in the diner. The dialogue, I think that's maybe the best dialogue I've ever seen in a movie because it's very real.
Yeah.
You can feel like it's kind of awkward. Travolta doesn't know what to say. They like talk a little bit. And she's like, okay, I'm going to go powder my nose, try to think of something to say. And you can tell he feels uncomfortable. He's like, okay, yeah, I will.
You're right.
It's such real dialogue.
Real dialogue,
And I
and
think
the fact-
Tarantino stands alone on how good he is at making dialogue like that.
Realistic dialogue always strikes me as well.
Yeah.
And when the two hitmen were talking about Big Macs and the Royale with cheese, it doesn't have anything to do with the plot, and that's why I love it.
Yeah.
It's real, makes it seem real. I don't know, it's great,
Yeah.
great movie. And then yesterday I watched Parasite.
Oh, yeah, great movie.
You've seen it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the South Korean movie.
Very, very cool movie.
Have you seen that one, Adam?
Directed by Bong Joon-ho.
You
I
haven't?
think that is a yes.
He hasn't seen
No,
it.
I haven't seen it.
I
No.
have not seen it. No, I have not.
Parasite. Okay.
Nope, I have seen Making a Murder by Bong Joon-ho. That's a good one. That's one of his first ones that he did.
He also did Snowpiercer, right?
Did
Oh,
he?
that's really interesting.
Did he do the TV series or the movie, the OG movie?
I think I don't know. I haven't seen either.
I've seen the movie. The movie's good.
But I was reading about the director, and I think that he's credited to Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer? That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a good like sci-fi, like dystopian type of movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I've heard great things about Snowpiercer.
Yeah, we should watch it.
Snowpiercer, it's kind of about like the caste system. So like the poor people are on the back of the train. There's a middle class, and then there's like the elites that
Okay.
have like all the good shit in the front of the train.
Yeah.
and it's like it's Ice Age. Like it's a never ending moving train. Society is no longer like existing. Everything
like
coexists.
post-apocalyptic
Yep,
and
everything
new
exists
Ice
in
Age,
the
right?
train.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
there's this massive Ice Age.
And it's separated by class.
Yep.
That sounds like the same director, because that Parasite had major undertones of class differential.
Yeah.
Yeah, hugely.
Yeah.
Yeah, hugely.
No, I haven't seen that one though.
It's great.
Something interesting about Parasite. So you know the good luck stone
Yes.
that he's given that will give them like financial security. So you remember the flood in the house?
It was floating,
It was floating. Yeah. So it wasn't actually anything.
which is also kind of why the guy didn't die from that getting slammed on his head,
yeah,
because it wasn't like a real dense stone.
Yep. It was all fake. Like it was. It's basically something that's just like gilded. You know,
Wow.
not actually stone. Yeah.
Wow.
They're given this stone that's supposed to give them wealth and prosperity.
Guidance.
And
Yeah.
it's not even real. It's not actually the stone
It
that they
goes
believe
boop.
it is. Yeah, it's just like
a
plastic.
bobber.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Huh. It seems like it's heavy though. I mean, like looking at them
Big.
holding it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then the end is the song during the credits in Korean. I believe
I
it is.
think so.
So that song is saying it's something about like I would have to work 10,000 years.
Yeah, and I think it was originally written by the character who played the guy who sang it.
It is, yeah.
The son,
yeah.
yep.
And it makes sense because he'll never be able to buy that house to get
No.
his dad out if his dad's there. Like he'll never.
Yep.
That thing at the end is just a dream. It doesn't actually happen.
It's a gut punch at the
Yeah.
end, because you get the scene of him talking about it and thinking about it, and they put that on screen.
Yeah.
The dream,
Yep.
and you think that's real for a sec, but like him walking up the stairs and going out and giving his son a hug.
Yep.
And then it's right back into like fades down, and you see he's back in the slum.
Yep.
And, you
yeah.
and then he sings the song. You're like,
just
yeah,
a
that's never going to
fantasy.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great thing on like class mobility as well. I think that's an interesting concept that people fall into, maybe sometimes the trap of believing in like high mobility class wise. And yeah, maybe it is just more of just a dream that we can actually
What I liked was the commentary, because a lot of those types of movies that deal with class differentialism shows, like I think about is it Bug's Life, where the
or is it ants?
it's ants, right? When ants come,
Isn't it a Bug's Life?
they
with ants?
outnumber us 10,000 to 1 or whatever. If they all come together, they can defeat the evil crickets or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Isn't
a lot
that
of
Bug's
mov-
Life?
I think that's
it's a
Bug's
I
Life.
thought it was ants, but
I
maybe
think it's a Bug's
maybe I'm
Life.
tripping.
Yeah, I think it's a Bug's
I
Life.
get the two mixed.
With ants. It
'Cause
has the same actors.
Pixar and Disney has just been head to head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of those
Like
types
CVS
of movies
versus Walgreens, you know?
have that trope of the poor class coming together to defeat. But this one had the two poor individuals, two poor families. They actually fought. If they had worked together, they would have found a way to coexist in that house together.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that they fought each other,
Yeah.
it's such a perfect commentary on society, because poor people will fight with each other instead of helping each other to work, to improve their situation.
It's because poor people are dumb. and that's why they fight with each other, and that's why they're poor.
I think it's a human response. It's a natural human instinct to fight with. I don't know.
Kind of like intra competition.
Well, if you,
Yeah.
Because if you see someone that has like as little as you have, you know, like I feel like most people, their first instinct isn't usually to like, oh, let's combine our stuff. We can both have, like, if you're at that point, you're probably thinking, you know, I'm already super low, so are they. I'm going to take what they have, and I have a little bit even more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Versus if they were to just look at the whole situation and be like, hey, you know, we're a whole group of homeless people. Each of us have $5. Let's put it all together and see what we can do with it. And,
Right.
Right.
You know, but no,
Yeah, but that's socialism.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. We're against that. This household stands against socialism.
Well, yeah, dude, your household,
Yeah.
my household.
It's a big socialist household.
This is a moderately socialist
There's a good
household.
balance
Yeah.
of socialism and communism.
I feel like the family unit is very like communist.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
you all
definitely.
share things. Like the family unit is communist.
Very Soviet of you.
That's how it should work.
Yeah.
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 Very Soviet. I've got a poster of a Russian hockey player downstairs. So
That's
that's
Oh yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much full-on Soviet communist.
Yeah. So yeah, nice movies.
Yep. And then I watched Citizen Kane after Parasite. So two like completely opposite spectrum.
Okay. I've never seen
Movies.
Citizen Kane either.
It's not. I'm glad I watched it. It's not for me. I can't appreciate it enough because I don't understand the medium enough to appreciate it. Like it's for film students.
Okay.
For
these
sure.
days, right?
Yeah.
Like it
was of its time.
Well, you almost, if you're going to appreciate Citizen Kane, you almost have to watch like 2 or 3 movies from the 30s that came before it
Yeah.
to fully appreciate what Citizen Kane brought to the table.
Yeah.
You can't go from watching like Parasite or Fight Club and then watching Citizen Kane, and it's just not, it doesn't work that great. I read up a lot about it after I saw it because I was like kind of underwhelmed. I mean, it was a nice story, but I was like, I don't get why this is consistently on like the top of the best movie all time lists.
Right. Right.
And then the more I read about it, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It's kind of like showing a Gen Z kid the Beatles, and they're like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard dubstep, I've heard Kendrick Lamar. This
Yeah.
isn't, but it's like, yeah, but those things wouldn't exist if it wasn't, for the groundbreaking of.
Yeah, the very mid Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't like the Beatles.
Yeah. A great movie from that time period of Citizen Kane is 12 Angry Men.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Fantastic movie, black and white, and that movie holds up perfectly.
I saw
still.
that in school.
Good.
We acted it out in school. Like we read the script together and everything, and then I don't remember what. I think it was like
Was it English class? The language arts?
Yeah, it was English class. I
Yeah.
think it was like junior year or something. And
Yeah, I'm glad they
we
showed
read
us
the whole,
that movie.
We read
in
the
school.
whole story and everything, and acted it out. It had like people we moved our desks and to have set up like a courtroom and everything, and we did
That's
all
cool.
that. It was really really cool. And then
Yeah.
we ended up watching the movie afterwards, and it's a very very interesting. I just remember the end of it, the guy just sobbing and saying, "Not guilty, not guilty." And,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just it's very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I'm due for a
protagonist
rewatch.
holds it down.
Yeah.
The whole movie, I mean, everybody says like, "Oh, he's guilty." And he's like, "You're all wrong."
Right. Well,
Yeah.
also to think
It
that
takes
the,
balls. It's
Yeah, it
super
does.
admirable.
to think that the entire movie takes place in one room. With 12 guys in one room sitting around a table. It's like if you were to walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey, let's make a movie about just 12 guys discussing whether one dude's guilty or not."
Yeah,
gonna be
and they're angry.
That's going to be kind of boring movie. There's not going to be much to that.
Right.
But when you put it together and you like, dang, that's really interesting that they were able to make it so interesting. And if you look at the big picture, it's just 12 dudes sitting around a table in one room in the entire movie.
Yep.
I should rewatch it.
Yeah.
It's super dialogue driven, right?
It's all dialogue driven and it's
Yeah.
in black and white. And the thing I would say about 12 Angry Men is that it's right when we were moving from the big medium of plays and theater into movies. Mm-hmm. So I still think it very much has that like theatrical, only being in one room, heavy only dialogue. Mm-hmm. And so it's very much like a play on screen.
On screen, yeah.
That's
That's
really
a good
all
point.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
That
a
would
good way to describe it.
translate very well to a play.
It would
On the
almost be
stage.
better as a play,
Right.
just to watch it live.
Kind of
Right.
like, in a way, kind of like To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, hugely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another old one too.
Yep.
Yeah. They made a second To Kill a Mockingbird. There's a sequel to it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, there's a sequel.
Like an actual follow up, not a remake, but a sequel.
Like a sequel, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about
Does what's his name?
Atticus Finch.
No, the guy he tried to get off. The little black boy.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably not his name.
That's not
A little black boy.
Little black boy. That's it.
Carl. I'm glad you don't have vocal tics right now.
Just like black.
Black guy.
But does it follow him? Like the sequel follow him?
I don't know what
Does he
it's
go
about.
out and actually do it now this time?
Oh, I hope so. Kind of like a retribution.
Yeah, like a Stephen Avery when they was wrongfully convicted, and then went out and then was like, "Fuck them! I'm gonna actually murder someone now. I'm gonna get my money's worth for this sentence I just did." If you were
Money I
wrongfully,
spent on lawyers.
if you were wrongfully convicted and did like 30 years in prison and then got out, would you? Is it morally? I can't asking this.
You already did the time.
You already did the time. Can you go out
Yeah.
and kill someone then and be like, "I already served"?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no.
Probably.
not how
It's
it's
a
worked
funny
out.
thought experiment, though.
Yeah, you don't get called a fag, and you're like, well, I'll show them. I'll suck every dick here. No.
Interesting.
Is that what that is? Making a murder is about? Like, is that he actually does commit?
Well,
After-
yeah. So
after
he
he's
was
innocent?
proven innocent and got out after being falsely accused, and then he went out and they. Well, you haven't seen Making a Murder?
I started it, but I didn't finish it.
It was like the first ever true crime documentary. That's what like put true crime documentaries on the map.
For Netflix, yeah.
Yeah. It was so good. I remember
That came
being
out when we were in
glued to it.
college.
When we were in high school, I think, before college.
Part 1, I think, came out when we were like seniors. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's about that guy from Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
How does his nephew get wrapped up into it?
His nephew was a very low IQ.
And he was like, I did
Guy-
it with Uncle Steven.
Yeah. That pretty much just. I don't
The judge
know.
went live.
Stupid. Why'd you do it? Because I'm stupid.
Give him the chair. I'm sorry.
But I mean, the documentary was heavily skewed onto this, like the defense side of they're just trying to frame him because the police don't want to look as bad, so they want to get him on something else.
Yeah, they have a vendetta against him.
But
kind of.
all the evidence, if you actually look at the case, he probably felt like he was owed a freebie for that, you know?
Yeah.
If he did it if he did it the second time, which he did,
Yeah.
but it just makes me think he did it the first time as well.
Yeah, I don't know much about the first case actually.
You know,
They kind of gloss over that a little bit.
yeah.
So he was released. He was found innocent, released, and then actually did go and kill someone.
Yes. So he was first found guilty, did I think 20 years, maybe 15, 20 years before an Innocence Project reviewed the evidence and he ended up being acquitted and freed and declared innocent. Or not guilty, I suppose.
And then he was thinking the odds of me getting arrested for this again,
Yeah, exactly.
very low.
Yeah. So I could, again, he probably maybe felt like he had a freebie. He already did the time. He might as well get his money's worth.
Well, and also when you spend 20 years of your life in prison, it's gonna kind of alter how you are. I mean, being in prison is I think a lot of people that come out of prison are just it's a hard place to be.
Yeah, Adam, what's prison like?
Are you talking like a non-violent person goes into prison, comes out violent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is that just stereotypical?
I think it happens.
No, for sure. I would think if you're getting sent to prison for a drug-related charge, not like a physical charge, like an assault charge, yeah, you're gonna have to learn to defend yourself knowing you're going to prison.
Yeah, I mean, like,
So you're taking a non-violent person who doesn't have a history of past violence, but he's getting a charge, for drug trafficking or something.
do you think people, do you think a lot of people that go to prison for non-violent crimes come out of prison and commit violent crimes often, or do you think most of them? Because there's a lot of the sense of, I don't want to go back.
That too, maybe.
And so
Yeah.
I think that's one of the big things that stops people is that I don't ever want to go back.
If you're a felon, though, you almost seem like you don't have a choice but to go back to prison or do crime in order to get by financially.
If you've already served 25 years or something like that for armed bank robbery or something like that, like
It's prison's the only life you know.
yeah,
Like
at
in
that
the-
point you're like, how are you gonna like yeah, I'm all for reform and all that stuff and
Yeah.
trying to turn your life around, but at that point you've already gone that far with your life. Like what? How could you even like at that point?
It's like in the Shawshank
it's
Redemption when that
probably
guy
easier
does
to
like
just-
45 years and then they finally let him out and he's completely lost. He doesn't know
Brooks.
how to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to assimilate back into society. He wants to go back.
And he ends up killing himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And then Red had the same kind of mindset too.
He got put in the same halfway house as
He
him.
did, yeah.
He saw his little graffiti
Yeah,
on the wall.
yeah. Brooks was here. Red was here
Yep.
too.
Yep.
But then he had was it Andy, the main guy,
Yeah.
to go back to, and
If he had that motivation to
if it
keep
wasn't
going,
for Andy, dude, Red would have had the same exact fate as
same
Brooks.
conclusion, yeah. I would think so.
Yeah, just being in prison for that long, it's the only life you know.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. Imagine not being behind bars for 40 years and the world is just moving on outside, and you get out and you see he's like the world sped up. Everyone became in such a hurry with the automobiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, imagine how much missing out on technological advancements, just the outside world for 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
And then coming back to it, you'd be completely lost. It'd be a different world.
There was just a guy that got released. He served 26 years in prison. But DNA evidence came out. He didn't do it. But yeah, I just think about that. Like, when you went in, you were 16 years old. Yeah,
so perfectly done.
but even the span of the last 26 years, that's a long time to come out now and be like, oh, there's fucking smartphones. There's this, there's that.
Dude, if
Yeah.
you were in the brink for 5 years and just came out, and now there's AI.
Yeah, that's nuts. Even
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Shit.
Well, because the way you live your life in prison, it's so you have to completely alter how you do everything.
It's much simpler. You don't have to make
Yes.
decisions.
Yes, true.
Yep.
So it becomes easier, I think, for those people who've been there longer.
But there are certain probably different instincts that I don't know. It's
That's a good point.
Like certain little things that you injure yourself and it's do you want to go through the whole process of telling the guard and going to the infirmary and all that stuff?
Yep.
Or do you want to try and
To play it off.
play it off or treat it yourself in your cell or something like that? I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm also just going based off of movies and shows. I have no obviously.
Yeah, Carl, what's it like in prison?
Yeah, I don't know. Just got out a couple days ago.
Nice.
Dude, one time the girl asked me how many times I've been to jail.
Really?
Yes. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine in sophomore year of college, and he had this girl he was kind of seeing. And it was us and a group of people, and we were all drunk, kind of walking from one party to the next. And she just asked me, how many times have you gone to jail? Which is a fucking bananas question.
Yeah. Not if you've been, how many times you've
Yeah,
been.
Exactly, yeah.
Straight to how many times.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Because
know.
obviously you've been, but
Maybe
how many?
I was wearing my hat backwards and I had earrings in. Maybe
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's it.
Shit.
a dead giveaway right
Full
there.
on
Yeah.
serial killer,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
Just so out of pocket, man. It took me off guard. I still think about that question. That's probably one of the most interesting questions I've ever been asked.
Yeah. Is it 0?
Yeah, it's 0.
Yeah.
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 I've never been arrested.
Did you ask her why she thought that?
I probably did. I don't remember that. I just
Yeah.
remember everything's blank after getting asked that question.
No, yeah. Throws you
I
off.
just shut out everything else.
You're like, shit, I've been in the pen Lost count.
Well, if you look at my tattoos.
You're like the guy from Prison Break. You take your shirt off. You have the full map of the facility on your chest. Like, that's how I got out. You got to go around the belly button to get out. Like, shit, this guy's been around.
Oh, nice. Okay, guys, I gotta go. Are you guys gonna do a Patreon?
No, we're probably
We can fuck around. We can play some video games or something.
yeah.
Okay, nice.
Pouring out together.
Yeah.
Should we goon?
Do you want to goon?
Daddy, is that guy gooning?
Oh, how I must goon.
All right, see you guys.
All right, peace out, granddaddies.
All right, bye.
Inside.
For clothes that Tristan lost. At Bold 3 Detergent Plus Fabric Softener.